We had brought affiliate in-house a little over a year ago. And so for us, it was figuring out where affiliate fits within the marketing team, how to optimize within our team. When it came to deciding how that role would fit together, influencer felt like a really seamless fit. We were seeing success when it came to influencer affiliates. So we decided to pair the influencer and affiliate roles together into one role, which is my title. And so I oversee all affiliate and influencer partnerships.
The goals for Tomahawk were, one, to obviously create sales and drive growth. And that's more with some of the traditional partners we work with on the content, coupon, cashback. But with the influencer channel, it's a little bit harder to always track that one-to-one return from what you get there. So if we're going to work with these influencers, how do we make sure we don't spend all of our money and not drive any sales and kind of just get burned?
We have traditionally been on a CPA only model. So looking at kind of Metapic as a whole, we kind of knew that competitors were already utilizing on a CPC model within Metapic. I think we just recognized obviously the value that influencer networks can bring to a channel. So it kind of just meant we either accept that we lose our share of voice within the influencer space, or we actually try and adapt.
The nice thing about like an affiliate creator structures, it's a little bit blended. So you're not sticking them into like some affiliate program where they don't really have much communication and they're not hearing very much about the brand and they're not feeling like they're a partner or a part of it. You're still communicating with them. They still have a direct contact in you. You're giving them sales information and supporting their success, but you're also not only working with them on the flat fee. So I think it's a little bit of a blend of both.
That was the beauty of affiliate spaces, right? One, it was a totally untapped channel that they hadn't had. And two was the affiliate model really protects you from getting burned on those flat fee deals where, how do I know what I'm getting back out of this?
CPC is a low risk way of working with new influencers. It's a capped budget, which means that it's cost effective for the brand side, whereas CPA requires a specific action. Usually that's going to be sales, which is a little bit unfair because the influencer will go through all of this marketing effort to create all the content, which takes time.
Not every post is going to generate a sale, but it does generate media value for McGee & Co. And that media value builds toward brand awareness over time, right? Certainly some of your products are a little bit more tentpole type. It's not like fast fashion or something like that, right? So you got to just keep hammering the brand home so that when that consumer decides that they're going to redo a room or whatever, McGee comes to mind, right? For a place to look for inspiration and products.
And then if they don't get a sale, because it does take time for a consumer to consider that purchase, then they're missing out on the actual commissions. And that tends to demotivate them a little bit because then they're like, well, if I've never worked with this brand beforehand and I've driven traffic to their site, but it's not converting, then what's in it for me? Yeah. So that's why a lot of them turn to flat fee models instead, straight off the bat, which is a bit unnerving for brands because you don't want to work with an influencer you don't have any kind of data on. You don't know if they're going to work for you. They can have like millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, but doesn't mean that their audience is going to be engaged with your product.
They want to get paid a flat fee. Who doesn't, right? But they want a flat fee. We need to drive sales. We need to make money, like to pay you these fees and to keep the partnership going. And we basically broke it down like, here's a commission rate that is well above and beyond anything that's anybody's ever offered to you. You know, you said you can drive all of this traffic and these sales. Here's the projections, right? Like at this conversion rate with this AOV, with an affiliate link that has cookie tracking and those types of things, here's what you would make on this deal versus just a flat fee deal that we're willing to do. And it's substantially higher than what you would do just on the flat fee. So really showing them the numbers of what it would look like is the big thing. And then on top of that, for influencers and for athletes and these people, like a lot of times the worst part about a flat fee deal is there's a lot of obligations that are really strict and there's maybe not as much creative control. We took all of that out of the equation. We said, hey, promote when you want, how you want, whenever you want, as much or as little. It's your content, your audience, you know what works best. Like, here's your commission. Treat it like it's your own company, essentially.
How would you treat a seller that you hired as a full-time employee, right? You would give them a sales goal. You would give them materials on how they should be talking about the products that you're promoting. You'd give them embargoed information about sales, like, hey, we're gonna have a sale coming up, so be ready to promote it. And that really, I think, goes a long way to making that creator on the other end of that relationship feel like they're really your partner. right? And you're giving them feedback on how they're doing. That's the nice thing about the Awin data. It's pretty instant, right? They get to see exactly, when they promote a link or a code, within a matter of hours after doing that, they'll be able to see the results that's generating for them.
Our biggest successes have just always been where we've kind of utilized both the CPC boosts alongside like the creator competitions, the gifting, and also like just exposure across Metapic. I think just having that brand presence across like all of like Metapic has just really helped us, and you can really just see the organic uplift we see from content creation off the back of it. I think it just really drives them kind of long-term partnerships with the influencers, but then also just drives that sort of like trust from the audience as well, because they can see that Boots is kind of integrated within their lifestyle and kind of everyday makeup routine, or like within like the Mother's Day care and things like that.
We want to work with people that are confident that they're going to create results, but also like really believe in the brand and the product. And I think everything we do from a marketing perspective comes back to like, we believe that if we can acquire new customers and get in front of people, they're going to come back and buy more. Like, we believe in our product, we stand behind the product, and that's a big part of everything we do.
That's an important part of a program, is to give creators those opportunities, those fee-based opportunities, right? Because that's what many of them are aspiring to. So that's actually a really great strategy. And we try to make it really easy to do that in the platform, right? To peel out, some of the top performing creators and give them opportunities for specific promotions, maybe around, new product launch or seasonal event. And we see clients in this category doing that and getting really great outcomes. And, you still get the affiliate outcome of that, but they also get a little fee, baked on top of that. It's a great way to grow the partnership.
Were there any unusual examples of influencers that you were working with that stood out to you?
Definitely just like the niche creators that really have like those highly engaged kind of audiences. I think those were the ones that kind of surprised me the most. And they kind of typically perform really well across like the beauty sector, the baby sector, and like the health and wellness and things like that. So we're seeing not just kind of like the premium beauty driving the biggest sales, it's the ones that are driving kind of sales across all different categories, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I think we looked at each other at the same time.
Too, there's the guy from, who's the one influencer?
Oh yeah, so there was this one guy on TikTok. He was a school teacher, just had fun, really out there. And we basically approached him. We're like, let's give you an affiliate code. Let's see what happened. He posted one video and it was just sales. So we're like, here's more glasses, more sales. Here's more glasses, more. And he just took advantage of the moment. And I think that it's unexpected because it's not really an influencer, right? At that moment, he was not. He was just having fun. He's not an athlete, right? He's not what we would go after, but we had a fun conversation with him. We said go. We couldn't believe it. I think that he texted me today. He's like, have you seen these numbers? And I was like, no, I haven't checked it out. Like, I didn't really think. And all of a sudden it's like, look how many codes were used. We're like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, and that's why we always say, like, throw stuff at the wall, because you never know when like there's going to be some sort of anomaly like that.
We had a creator who joined the program maybe 2 or 3 months ago. She said something along the lines of, I'm a small creator. I'm not really sure how to hit these goals. Do you have any advice for me? And I said, share the things that you like, that you would love to have in your own home if you don't already have them. And I said, and just link everything and your audience will catch on. And our first sale that followed that conversation, she moved from our first to second tier, and she was our first creator to do so. And now she's almost into our top tier. And again, this is a creator with, I think she's under 30,000 followers. She's not by any means one of our larger creators that we work with. However, she gets it, and she's posting and she's doing phenomenally well. And she's up there with our creators who have hundreds of thousands of followers. So I think it also doesn't matter like the size of the creator, but I think once they figure out the strategy and what works for them and their audience for affiliates, they can be really successful.
Could you describe a little bit more about how you're kind of setting out benchmarks for success?
Obviously, sales and revenue are obviously the indicators of success. However, we kind of take a really holistic approach to kind of measurement. So we're not just looking at short-term kind of goals, but we're also kind of looking at long-term sustainability and also brand visibility as well. We're looking also at traffic and clicks, making sure that the influencers are driving quality traffic, and also kind of seeing how well the products are being engaged by the kind of consumers. Also look at conversion rates, obviously how well that traffic is converting. ROAS is a huge part of kind of how we're measuring success as well. So making sure that we're seeing a really strong return of our investment and making sure it's commercially viable for us. And then also just competitive benchmarking. So we're always kind of reviewing our performance against kind of industry trends and making sure that we're remaining competitive within such an already competitive landscape.
I think the first thing we looked at was customer lifetime value. How many new customers did we get? So it wasn't necessarily about how much revenue and how many customers, but like what percentage of them were new customers. And with the influencers, we found like 95% of the time it was new customers. So that was a big part. And then we looked at SMS and email growth. We looked at social follower growth. Those are probably the main KPIs that we were looking at.
Creator IQ has so many metrics that allow us to not only prove the effectiveness of the program through revenue, but there's metrics like SMV, EMV, total impressions, total engagements. Their content tracking is phenomenal. So I think for us, like, it's nice to be able to tell both sides of this story. And that's something that I think continually we're working to get C-suite buy-in on, is this, like, these numbers like EMV, SMV impressions that are maybe not like as revenue bottom of funnel focused, but are really, really effective in terms of like brand positioning and exposure. And so Creator IQ has done a really good job of helping us see the whole story across all the data.
I mean, it's really the perfect use case of our platform, where you're blending what's best about Awin in terms of, you know, the affiliate marketing capabilities for conversion tracking, commission tracking, and all that data, with what we have on the influencer side, which is, you know, connections to the social media platforms for visibility into the individual influencer profiles, and bringing those things together to really quickly scale up a affiliate creator program.
I think where Metapic really goes one step ahead is to make sure that we don't want to be a black box. We really pride ourselves on transparency. So we give them like a look into who those creators are that are actually driving success for them, breakdown of their data as well, so they can see how they're contributing to the performance too. And we just really make sure that we utilize that data to really push the growth of our clients. And that's something we do really well with Boots, I feel.
Yeah.